Hello everybody from Arlo White in the Live Broadcast Studio, and welcome to highlights of another excellent day's golf on Super Saturday in Greenbrier. Now, Live Golf history was made by this man, the high flyers Brendan Steele. This is his second shot at the par 5 17th. In it goes, the first albatross in league history, and it's Brendan Steele who is all smiles. Cam Smith teed off at 18 today. He made a par there, then proceeded to card a 27 over the front 9 holes to briefly take the lead. This was his third at 12. An eagle for Cam there, but he was overall level par through his last 8 holes and his 3 off the lead. Brooks Koepka is seeking a 5th Live Golf title. No other man has more than 3. A pair of 64s for Brooks. He's 12 under par. That was his birdie putt at 18. But today was all about Jon Rahm, who is hunting a second straight win in the Live Golf League after his first victory at the JCB in the UK, and he's also hunting down Wako Niemann for the overall title of Live Golf League champion for 2024. A remarkable round of 62 today for Jon Rahm. That was his second into 17. This is his tee shot at 18. And you wouldn't bet against Jon Rahm going back-to-back and taking a lead into the final regular season event in Chicago in 3 weeks' time, seeking a first prize of $18 million. And he rounded things off superbly with a birdie putt at the first. An 8 under par 62 today. Jon Rahm will take a 2-stroke lead into Championship Sunday. Ripper lead the team comp by 1.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. The Friday Night Freak Show has begun as the National Football League preseason winds down, mercifully so, I might add. We've got CFL football, we've got Major League Baseball, we've got NFL preseason football, including the Las Vegas Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers. The point spread right now, 9 points. We're getting ready for kickoff. San Francisco are planning on playing their starters a bit. The Raiders are not. You have this crazy point spread. It's a roll of the dice, all right? Just because a team is starting their starters, like their starters better score, like early on the drives. Jacksonville did tonight. Jacksonville absolutely murdered Atlanta to 31-0 final score in that football game. The Niners and the Raiders, it's a rivalry game. It's not the same now. It doesn't have the Bay Area feel to it like it used to, but they're still playing each other here. I just can't lay 9.5 points. But like I said, it's hit or miss. And when you're betting these preseason games and the last preseason game, like betting the first ones and the second ones aren't crazy. They used to be 4, now they're 3. But like it's not crazy, right? You know, there's a method to it. Like they, you know what I mean? There's a rhythm to each week. This is sort of like the Hall of Fame game, right? Well, remember when the Hall of Fame game came? I said this is actually like the worst game to bet on, the Hall of Fame game, but the next couple of weeks will be really good. Now it's back to, listen, just flip an effing coin, all right? It's going to come down to a play. One team might murder the other team. It's very random right now, but the overs have been cashing, right? It's 3-1 right now to the over in the last 4 games. We had 2 games over last night. One of them went under tonight. And the only reason the game went under tonight is because the Falcons were that bad. Like, they played like 5th string. I think the Falcons actually hooked up their team employees tonight or something. I think they had like the people that sell the season tickets on the phone get a chance on the field. It was rough. And you know, it's funny. I tell you what, there's somebody like the Falcons, I'm buying in. They were so confident. Like all their starters were in street clothes and doing interviews, and everybody was in such a good mood. And I'm almost like thinking, it's like they know something we don't know. And it's like, you guys better, because that was pretty pathetically embarrassing, all right, what you did tonight in front of your own home fans. Except, I'll tell you what, Atlanta Atlanta's a great place to go to a game. Arthur Blank is a smart businessman, and I don't know why more owners don't do this, but I guess they're just like dumb or, that greedy. But everything is $5 at an Atlanta sports game in his stadium. Like the soccer team, the Atlanta FC, Atlanta SC, whatever the hell they're called, Atlanta United, whatever, all the stupid names that they have. The Atlanta team, like the concession stands, it's like, everything is $5. So it's like basically, it's not $18. Like beers, like Cokes are like $3, beers are $4.50 or whatever. Everything is like $5 or less. In fact, we'll get the picture up later, maybe. It doesn't feel the same talking about these food segments without Cam here, but somebody posted a picture the other day, and they said, this is what $20 got me at the Falcon game. And it was insane. like there was basically, it was like a beer, a Coke, a piece of pizza, chicken tenders, and a hot dog. Like it was like, whoa. And everybody was responding to it, going, that would cost like $200 in New York, $200 in San Francisco or Toronto. I don't know every league's concession. I know for a fact, I can tell you, people always complain about MSG and stuff. It's actually worse in Toronto. San Francisco and Toronto are the two most expensive NBA arenas once you're inside the arena, like the Warriors and the Raptors. The Raptors won one championship, but so it's, maybe you guys should ease up a little bit. You've won once, right? But there's a lot of money in Toronto, right? And whatever. It's a lot of people in Toronto. There's only so many people can get in the building. And although the Raptors are better than the Leafs the Leafs are like merciless. Like the Raptors ticket prices aren't as bad as the Leafs. All right, so we've got, is the field goal good? It is good. So it's 16-3 right now. It's going to be 16-3 going into the half here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We need more points. Just point blank. The total is 49.5 in this game. So we're at 19 right now at the half. If Hamilton gives us something in the second half, this can get there. We also teased it to the over, and so we'll see which way this goes. But Hamilton are freaking terrible, all right? They're just bad on both sides of the football. And Winnipeg aren't great offensively. We talked about this. We talked about this before with the Bombers' offense. We got to get to this baseball game. So the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Tampa Bay Rays in action tonight at Chavez Ravine. So it's Miller versus Anderson. Anderson's like a bullpen guy, but he started, and he's gone like four innings in the last couple of starts. His strikeout prop is 3.5. It wouldn't shock me if he got there, actually. Bobby Miller has been hit pretty hard. I'm not a big over-better with baseball, but I could see there being runs tonight in this game. The total is 8.5. And in fact, you know what? Let's jump in on this. Let's jump in on a run in the first inning. Will there be a run in the first inning? I'm going to say yes. And I don't call it a nerfy or a yerfy. It's the stupidest, most freaking annoying. That's more annoying than people arguing about walking bets. Look at me. I invented sitting down and talking about sports. So are you allowed to walk and like take a picture, or is that like faux pas now as well? So give me give me a run in the first. And for the record, it feels like an Ohtani night tonight, doesn't it? I don't like playing these home run props because, dude, even the best players only going to hit, the math doesn't add up for these home run props. So you sort of have to get lucky and step in and out. It feels like an Ohtani home run tonight. I think Ohtani's going to hit a home run. I played Ohtani to hit a home run at like plus 280, and I got Ohtani to over 1.5 total bases. All right, innings. I haven't put it. I got to get this stupid play in. I'm choking because I know I'm on the clock right now. Inning props. Here we go. Number of batters, a strikeout, strike on the side, alternative first inning, money line, run in the first inning. Yeah. Yes, Dodgers. Let's get this in. All right, it's in. That was close, man. That took a while. So yeah, we're in on that. Yeah, the total is no longer 7 here. It's 8.5 in this Dodger game. I got to tell you, I wish I could bet some of the numbers on our screen this week. I'd be like, oh, 7. I'm going to jump in. It's 8.5 right now. So 8.5 in the Dodgers Rays game. So, we got some action here. We have the 49ers and the Raiders tonight. I took the Raiders, and I'm just holding my breath and hoping for the freaking best here, all right? Like just point blank. I don't think it's the lock of the century or anything like that. But, oh, yeah, we've got college football in what? In 14 hours. Pretty crazy to say. Like before, it was like, wow, it's 40 days. So, it's what, noon Eastern. So I think we're 14 hours away right now from the start of the college football season. So we'll get you caught up to date with all the point spread moves. Steve Merrill will bat leadoff tonight. We got Steve Merrill. We got Mick Aussie, Tony Finn, Rob Vino. So we got a full house on the program tonight. A lot of football talk. College football is here. Although next week, and I got to be honest, too, I've almost kind of said everything I can possibly say about these freaking games. You can only dig down so deep into a Delaware State Hawaii game, right? But with that being stated, there's been a lot of line movement in the Montana State game, which I don't really get, to be honest with you. So maybe some of our guests can explain that to me. So San Francisco and the Raiders have kicked off at Allegiant Stadium. And in fact, speaking of countdown to kickoff, I'm going to be in this stadium in 9 days' time for LSU and USC.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Let's do this thing. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. While we wait on Merrill and our crew to step up and in, we'll go right to a best of X because a lot of baseball stuff going on. And listen, I complain about their stupid, potential, 6 innings and this and whatever. I love the sport of baseball, obviously. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on. The Orioles and the Astros, lit game tonight. Teams are battling for, wild cards and even first place. All right, here's San Francisco going for a field goal. And the kick is good. Of course the kick is good. Their kicker went to Michigan. Jake Moody with the field goal. So 3-0. That's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. You hear what I'm saying? Like, the number was all big because, the Niners are starting their starters. All right, they got 3 points out of it. And it's sort of, it goes, you know what I mean? They're not going to be out there too long. So it's like they got 3. Like, Jacksonville were ruthless tonight. And I got to tell you, too, I'm buying into the Jags. I really like what I saw. And you know who I'm telling you what, guys. You know who's going to be a big, like, prop player, fantasy player, like what I'm telling you right now. Brian Thomas is going to be a star for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Christian Kirk's good. He's always hurt. Gabriel Davis is inconsistent. Evan Ingram looks pretty good. Let's call it off what it is. You know, it never really worked out for him with the Giants, but he's really fitting in here. He made a great catch. Like, they look crisp tonight. I get it. They were playing against backups. It was their starters, but just, you know, Lawrence looked very comfortable. He was zinging the ball. You know, and it was sort of like, you know, I like the precisionness of it. It was like you could just sort of tell, like you could tell. It's like music, or like it's like you could tell. Like when you watch them, you're like, man, these guys are ready. Like these guys look prepared. You know what I mean? Like these guys look like they've been practicing. You know what I mean? Like they were in stride. Like Lawrence was throwing these like bullets and it was a all in stride. The receivers catch and keep on running. Like I said, this Thomas kid out of LSU. That's all I need to tell you. He's from LSU. Case closed, all right? Like if I was an NFL GM, like some of these guys overthinking. Just take every wide receiver from LSU. Right? They're not all going to be Hall of Famers, but seems to be a pretty good track record we have going on here of wide receivers. Yeah, Jefferson, Chase, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. Right? I mean, there's been like, you know, each through the generations. And they keep on coming fast and furious at us right now. But there's one crazy thing, and I've always talked this about baseball. There's literally like infinite amount of possibilities that can happen, right? Once you throw the pitch, right? Like, you know, in football, you know, you'll see some crazy things. Oh, the punt hit the scoreboard. That happened in the CFL game the other night. All right, they hit the roof or whatever. Okay, and it was pretty funny, actually. We would have played it on the Best of X, but we couldn't because of the right stuff. It's from the broadcast. But the kicker on the BC Lions, he punted the ball. And the scoreboard's freaking, like, they have this sort of, like, screen on, like, hanging from the roof. And it smoked it. Like, he hit it so high. And, like, I've never seen that before. I've been in that stadium a lot, never seen that before. And the ball came like flying down and it bounced all weirdly and the ref like stopped the play. Whoa. And the ref said into the mic, he goes, the kicker just hit the roof, which is kind of odd. So we're just going to do this all over. He goes, the way he said it, there was nothing official. He's like, it's kind of odd that happened. He goes, so we're just going to re-kick. All right. They were sort of joking. They told me, try not to hit the scoreboard again. All right, buddy. So it was pretty funny. So what I like about the infinite possibilities about baseball, you don't know what's going to happen. Like there's literally like your mind can't comprehend it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like 138,000 possibilities. Like when this happens and that happens. And look the other day with the Dodger game, we were watching it when none of us could even tell. We're like, was that a home run? Did he catch it? What happened? Buddy on the Mariners went up, slammed up against the wall, lost his glove. The ball did go over the wall, but then the ball was on the field after, but it didn't pop over. So it was like, what the hell just happened? There's like a little bit of padding at the bottom of the wall at Dodger Stadium, and the ball got hit so hard it ricocheted off like the staircase behind the outfield and threw itself back through the wall. Never seen that. Remember last year at Fenway Park, somebody hit a home run and it literally broke one of the lights in the Green Monster, like that are the same size of a baseball, and the baseball lodged where the light was. And they were like, this has never happened. You know, Fenway's been there like 100 plus years. They're like, this has never happened here before. See, I love stuff like that. And we'll bring Merrill in a minute, but this has literally never happened before, and it'll never, ever happen again. Roll it. Danny Jansen will become the first player in Major League Baseball history to play in the same game for both teams. You're like, how is that possible? So Danny Jansen was on the Toronto Blue Jays before. Now he's on the Boston Red Sox. On June 26th, they were playing against each other. The Blue Jays and the Red Sox were playing on June 26th, and he was on the Blue Jays. The game is going to be resumed. They're replaying the game on August 26th, and now he's on the Boston Red Sox. And on top of this, which is just insanity, this will never happen again, but on top of this, which it'll make it, he'll be the only, like, this is the type of thing, Danny Jansen, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame now. You ain't getting a plaque and stuff, but you'll be in the Hall of Fame as one of the most random, weirdest things ever. So he's the only player ever to play in the same game for both teams. He was actually at bat, as you guys see. He was at bat when the game got suspended. He will now be catching his own at bat. They should almost let him do both. You know what I mean? And as I explain this, like I told our crew, and they're like, yeah, this is too much for me to comprehend. It's almost too much to sink in. What do you mean his own at bat? He was at bat June 26th. We got to stop the game due to weather. Now they're going to resume the game. He's on the other team now, and he's the catcher. Wild.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
All right, this is SportsRage. Steve Merrill in the house with us right now. And Steve was, his mind was spinning when I brought up Danny Jansen and the random possibilities. Yeah, you can read it for yourself after. And when's the 26th? That's, Monday? Sunday? Whatever. Yes. Sunday?
Hey, by the way, that could happen again, Gabe. You said something will never happen again. I'm thinking that could happen again. Not likely, but it could.
A player playing in the same game?
It's happening. Same situation could happen. I mean, it's pretty. Well, it's pretty bizarre.
as somebody on Twitter told me, they're right. They said first time in 157 years, and they added up. They said, I guess the next time, 2178 or whatever.
What'll probably never happen, though, is that the dude that got traded's that bad. I'm fascinated by this, and Gabe and I were just talking about it off the air.
So they got to have a pinch hitter for him. Someone else has to come in. What was the count, guys? Can you guys see what was the count? What was the count on the screen?
My guess is that it's a pinch hitter, but like you can't do that in a real game. If the dude fouls the ball off his foot and's like, I'm hurt, you can't put a pinch hitter in, can you? I'm fascinated by this.
I don't know about the faking the injury stuff. That's the whole thing. Because you're not out. Like, if a guy breaks his ankle, it's not like, oh, he's out. It's an automatic out. No, you continue to have back.
This has had to have happened at some point in 157 years.
There's got to be a ramification, Steve, of cheating and pretending the injury. Like, you got to be out type thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. I don't. I mean, maybe it's a judgment call by the umpire if you can replace him. That would kind of make sense, maybe. You know,
you remember? You know the story about Eddie Goebel and Bill Veck.
No,
the little guy. So a little person.
Yeah. In the 1940s, you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like the late 40s.
Pete Gray. Was it his name? Pete Gray or something?
No. It was Bill Veck was the executive who used to always come up with circus. Bill Veck was the one that came up with the disco night that turned into a riot. So he always had he thought sort of like a circus kind of guy.
He was ahead of his time.
But yeah, just for the record, if you don't know the story, guys, he was doing it to sell tickets and stuff, but the league didn't know, so they had to change the rule. They actually literally changed the rule where you have to be on the roster, they have to be informed. He brought out a little person to pinch hit, so they would automatically get a walk, right? Because the strike zone would be
3'7". I'm looking at
Eddie
it right
Goodell.
now.
Yeah, Eddie Goodell.
3'7".
And the thing is, word was because they told him, "Don't swing, you better not swing." It was a real game, Steve. They told him, you better not effing swing. And if you read the quote, though, Bill Veck told him. He said, Eddie, I swear to God, I have a sniper in the stadium with a gun, and if you swing, we're going to shoot you. Because Eddie told people, I'm not going to, he goes, this is my only chance to be a Major League Baseball player. I'm not, I'm swinging the bat. And the pitcher got rattled, too. And then after they changed the rules another quick little thing about rule changes, you like this one, Steve, is Ted Turner. When Ted Turner bought the Atlanta Braves, he fired the manager, and he goes, I'll do a better job myself. And he managed. He was the owner, and he managed, Ted Turner. He was actually in uniform in a dugout, and they had to settle. They said you can't do that. Yeah, baseball said, if you're an owner, you're not allowed being a manager. You can't turn it into a vanity project.
That's fantastic. So, hey, real quick, I got a great story. There's a local umpire named Al Clark that's retired that lives in town that I've met at some parties over the years. He did the 83 World Series. I think he did the Earthquake World Series as well. He showed me his World Series rings over 30 years. I asked him
if you're
this
an ump, you
question
get a World Series ring, too. Sorry, Steve, that's cool. So if you're an ump, you get your own World Series rings, huh?
He's got two of them. He showed me the 83, which was my Orioles. That was my Orioles as a child growing up, as the 83 World Series. But seriously, this is a true story. I asked him 2 years ago at a Thanksgiving party. I talked to the guy for an hour. I mean, it's just fascinating. By the way, I asked him the most accurate pitcher he's ever umped, Catfish Hunter. Didn't see that one coming because that was a little before my time because we were talking about Maddox. I think Greg Maddox is what I was talking about, how accurate he was. He said Catfish Hunter had the best accuracy of anybody saw in 30-some years. I asked him about the big the board. I forget what it's called now, that they used to stand behind in the 70s. I go, why don't anybody use that anymore? That looks nice and safe and secure. They got you got grandfathered in. They got rid of them in the 70s, but some of those guys still had them in the 80s because they were grandfathered in, but you can't use those anymore. That's why they all have the chest protectors. He said your vision is very difficult. But where I'm going with this is I asked him point blank, why doesn't every playoff team put a 3'5" guy on their roster when bases are loaded, bottom of the ninth, tie game for an automatic walk? I asked him that question. I was being dead serious. And he said they could still throw strikes to those guys. And this is a guy that umped for 30 years. I didn't agree with it, and I debated him for a while. He said these guys are so good, they could throw him strikes still, which
I agree with that.
This is coming from a guy that's
he would know. I would agree with him. Yeah, this is different. 1940s, and the pitcher wasn't expecting it, Steve, right? Yeah, exactly. So nowadays, they just say, throw it low, bro. You know what I mean? And be fine.
You said they're that good.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So the Niners scored. It's 10-0 right now. 10-0, Steve. They were laying 9.5 points. They started their starters. The Raiders didn't. It's always hit or miss, right? I always find that there's a, it was 9.5, Steve, at kickoff.
It opened plus 3.5. How crazy is that?
The last week of preseason sucks, Steve. I tell people, like, there's advantageous, games in the preseason, but the last games aren't. They're just chaos. They're just random chaos, these games.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I've used one preseason game. It was last week, the Browns. I like the spot, and I even said, if this doesn't win, I'm just not going to mess with it. And, of course, it didn't win. Teddy was on. I think Teddy was like 0-5. And I say that not picking on Teddy. As you know, Gabe, Teddy is very sharp, puts a lot of work in, does extremely well with the preseason. And just look at the line moves. I look at the Wager Talk Live on screen, and that's where I just said, according to their opener, San Fran was plus 3.5, and it closed -9. So, I mean, it's a 12.5-point move. They're up 10-0. We'll see. But, yeah, last week all the big line moves got crushed. I think the professionals have not fared well this preseason. So, luckily, I've kind of taken it easy and just kind of sat on the sideline.
Well, now college football is ready to kick off in about 13 and a half hours' time. It's hard to believe to actually say that. Florida State and Georgia Tech, the number settled in here. It's been 10.5 for a couple of days now, and it's sitting at 55.5. But where the big line movement has come, Steve, is in this Montana State game, which somewhat surprises me that the FCS team is getting so much money, and it's up to 13.5 right now.
Yeah, and I actually did a solo video. We'll talk about the Hawaii game in a little bit. I did a standalone video for wagertalk.com yesterday on that game, so I do think there's a little bit of an angle there. Montana State is interesting because they are one of the better teams in the FCS level. These teams can often be dangerous as underdogs, as you know, Gabe, especially against mediocre opponents, and I think New Mexico qualifies as a mediocre opponent here, so I think that's one of the reasons we've seen a little bit of a line move in this one and some interest. And once again, there's only 5 games tomorrow. There's 4 games with the Division I team, but that North Alabama, Southeast Missouri State game's on ESPN. I believe it's 7 Eastern, so that'll probably get a little bit of action as well.
New Mexico haven't lost to an FCS team since 2011, and Montana State, as you stated, they are a good team, right? They're ranked 4th in the FCS rankings coming into this year, but asking them to win by 14 points
crazy
against Bronco Mendenhall. Let's not forget. And
good point.
They have a new athletic director. He's a former Louisville guy. So New Mexico have a respectable basketball program, and they've decided, you know what, we've got to raise it up a notch in the modern world. They spent a little money. They brought in Bronco Mendenhall. They've had a little infusion. I mean, obviously they don't have massive NIL money, but they got a couple of kids from USC, and, you know what I mean, they poached a couple of teams. Mendenhall has all offseason to prepare for Montana State as well. Just come up with a couple of first downs, chew the clock up. And I also think the total's too high in this game, 54.5.
I just looked, Bozeman's altitude is 4,800. And the reason I was doing that, because where's New Mexico? Albuquerque, I believe. Is that where you and
Yeah, Albuquerque. Yeah.
So I'm going to look that up right now. I'm curious.
Breaking Bad, Meth City, USA.
They might actually have less altitude in Albuquerque.
Altitude. Albuquerque's actually pretty up there, actually. Like
5,300, 5,300. Bozeman's 4,800. So, because my first thought was you also had the altitude factor, but then I was like, well, Montana State has altitude as well. I don't know. I kind of agree with you, Gabe.
They're in the cold mountains.
9.5 to 13.5. You almost feel like this game's going to land on 10 or 11, right? It's like, everyone knows Montana State's good, but to see them as a 2-touchdown road favorite, you talk about something that's never happened. I can't recall ever seeing a 1AA team as a 2-touchdown favorite against a 1A team on the road.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you remember this ever? It looks weird to me.
Like, and that's what I was going to say, Steve. So, and there's been, every year there's a few of them, right, where an FCS team is going to win. But they're usually big underdogs, and they'll win a close game. They hit a Hail Mary or whatever, something crazy happens. But how many times can you recall that an FCS team, even like the top ones, where it's like, oh, yeah, they beat them by 14, right? They smoked the FBS team. There are levels to this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, the Montana State are good. But, man, it's just, to me, it's ridiculous, the point spread. We'll see if we're right or wrong. But in Bronco Mendenhall, I trust. And I think there's a little middling going on, Steve, because, listen, the casual fan's betting a couple of bucks on these games, but the people have already really put money on this stuff. Like, look at the Nevada game, Steve. What was your original number there? I remember, 2 months ago, it was 19.5. It was 28.5, 27.5. It was 24.5 yesterday, and I look right now and I see 27.5 again. It's been all over the place.
Yeah, it's funny. You talk about original numbers. I was just pulling up my numbers for the Montana State New Mexico game. At the end of last season, I had New Mexico about 12 points weaker. So if you factor in 3 points for home field, it would be Montana State by 9 or 10. It opened 9.5. So that opening number is probably where it should have been. As you said, it's now up to 13.5. SMU, it opened as low as 20.5. It's up to 27.5 on the road again. Home dogs in the NFL in week one usually are worth a look. It's not necessarily the same in college football, but still, these teams have not played. They have to travel. Obviously, 28's the key number there. But, yeah, as always, mine's kind of right in the middle. And I do think like you said, I think there's some middling going on. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of buyback tomorrow.
So the Hawaii State game, the Delaware State-Hawaii game, not a ton of movement. There was a little bit after the plane stuff earlier in the week. But for the most part, it's been 38.5, 39.5. It's settled in now at 40, and I'm seeing even 40 right now. And, I know you follow the FCS closely, being, William and Mary guy. So, Delaware State are terrible. They're one of the worst FCS teams, right? I mean, the Delaware Blue Hens, they're good. These guys are bad. The Hornets are bad. They went 1-11 last year. Their only win was against Virginia Lynchburg Lynchburg Commerce, whatever the hell it was.
That is not a 1AA opponent for sure.
No, exactly. That was their only win. They lost 57-0 to Army, and they lost 62-20 at Miami of Ohio last year. And one thing about Hawaii, Steve, they do have a returning quarterback, wide receivers. Their O-line, Hawaii's offense is pretty good.
Yeah, I like Hawaii in this game. I did that video, and in fact, I meant to mention those blowout losses. I had a lot of stuff I had to get in a 4-minute video, and I forgot to mention those two big blowouts against, teams last year, Delaware State. So I appreciate you bringing that up because that's one thing I left out of the video, which I saw as well. The other thing is they haven't won a conference game for a couple seasons, and they're in the MEAC. It's a really bad 1AA conference. So, as always, it's not a question who's going to win this game. Spoiler alert, Hawaii is going to win. In fact, as I check right now, the Wager Talk Live odds screen, at least, there's not even a money line at like 6 or 7 major books that they track on this game. That tells you something, right? Because at -40, normally we get a money line still.
Yeah,
and there's not even a money line.
I don't
so
see a
Hawaii's
money
going to
line
win
either.
this game. It just comes down to, Gabe, do they win by more than 40? And what we always look for in these big numbers is, first of all, motivation. Hawaii will be plenty motivated because they've had some bad seasons recently. And then second of all, the ability to score enough points to do it. It's Timmy Chang's third season. He wants to play fast. He wants that high-octane, passing offense like he used to play. And he's finally got some guys there to do it. And you referenced the quarterback receivers coming back as well. If you're going to play it, you definitely lay it. And I think this is one of those smackdown games in which you can lay the 40 points. There's motivation, and they play fast, and they can score points in a bundle.
Stephen, even I thought originally, I wanted to talk myself in when I see this big point spread, but then I realized how bad Delaware State was. And I thought back, and I was talking with some people, and they're like, remember last year Albany gave Hawaii all they can handle.
Well, Albany was a good team.
Yeah, but you know what? Albany are a good team. And that's what I was going to say. Albany are actually one of the – they're freaking good. Dude, they had a stud quarterback, Albany, bro. In fact, that guy's back. I want to bet on him again.
In fact, Albany beat William & Mary. I watched that game on TV last year. Albany's a playoff caliber team. Delaware State's not even a Division I caliber team. Big difference, yeah.
No, I know. We got an email, tweet from someone that lives in the area, and he goes, if you drive by their stadium, you wouldn't even know it's a college football team stadium. It's like a high school field, like type thing. Delaware State.
Delaware State?
Delaware State, yeah.
Yeah, you told me I followed it. I was about to say, even I don't know Delaware State. they're awful.
No one does. The Hornets. Thanks, Steve.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. 16-10 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right now. 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter of play. Hamilton are sort of moving the football, but it's one of those Paul Abdul deals, right? 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They complete a pass. They get a penalty. They're having a hard time. And, it was strange play call. The Hamilton Tiger Cats just aren't a very good football team, but it was a big number. It closed 10-10.5. It went up. The total is playing to the under right now. We're hoping there could be some chaos still in this game. Let's bring in Mick Aussie right now. We'll talk CFL and AFL as the AFL playoffs are around the corner. Mick, good to see you tonight. We got a 16-10 game in this game, but we got 2 more games left in the CFL this week. The BC Lions have lost 4 straight games. They went from 5-1 to 5-5. And meanwhile, the Ottawa Red Blacks have surprised a lot of people. Hell, I bet them over 6.5 wins this year, but I didn't think they were going to be 6-2-1 after 9 games. But Nate Rourke's now had a week and a half to prepare. He only had 2-3 days notice in the last game that he played in. He probably really shouldn't have started, actually. And they're a desperate football team. The game's basically a pick-em right now, minus 120 on the money line. Total is 50. Who do you like tomorrow, Mick? The BC Lions or the Ottawa Red Blacks?
Oh, well, I do. I hope the BC Lions come good, but what a free fall they're in. But you're dead right. Expecting Nathan Rourke after travelling back from Atlanta, then 3 days practice, too much for him. But he's a star, so I expect him to play a lot better. But the Red Blacks have been down for a few years, so it's good to see him back because I enjoyed the first year there. Good crowd, good stadium, so I'm hoping the Red Blacks keep it on. But no, I want the BC Lions to win. I think they will, just because of Nathan Rourke, and that McGuinness is a star wide receiver. So BC Lions to get back to their winning ways, I hope.
Growing up, the Montreal Alouettes in the 70s were really, really good, right? I mean, they were signing Heisman Trophy winners. Like the CFL used to compete with the NFL for players. Not all of them, but if the CFL wanted a player, they would go after them. Johnny Rogers being, who I'm talking about, Heisman Trophy winner, Nebraska. Rocket Ishmael out of Notre Dame signed with the Argos. And remember, I had him on SportsRage years ago, and I asked him to tell me the story about how he ended up with the Argos instead of the Raiders. And he said that Al Davis called him and told him, he said, I'm going to take – the Raiders had like the 3rd pick in the draft. And there were like 2 quarterbacks going – there was a quarterback going ahead of him type of deal. And then it was Rocket Ishmael. And the Raiders told him, we're going to draft you. You're going to be a Raider. And we're going to take you 2nd or 3rd overall in the draft or whatever. And he goes, oh, that's great. And then he found out like the pay scale. Right? So he found out he was going to be making, I don't know, like $500,000 a year only or $650K or whatever. And he said that John Candy and Wayne Gretzky called him and offered him $1 million a year, basically, and plus perks. And he said, he goes, I was a big John Candy fan. He goes, John Candy walked in the room and they gave me $1 million. And he goes, I signed with the Argonauts. That's how it happened. And he ended up with the Raiders after, but he also won the championship with the Argos. So fond memories. I was going to say, the Ottawa Rough Riders used to be really good, Mick, in the 70s. Like they had really good players. They're always knocking on the door. So like you, I'm happy to see Ottawa do well. I think it's a good. I like that. It's a cool little town, Ottawa. So what's your pick for tomorrow, Ottawa or BC?
Oh, I'll go BC. Absolutely, I will. But you need to get on Pat McAfee's show again, mate, because I saw on Instagram Rod Peterson had a picture of McAfee up, and it said McAfee reckons that CFL is state fair football. So I'm not sure if that was about the Rouge or what. So you need to convince McAfee that CFL is pretty cool, mate.
Well, listen, Pat had about 250 Guinnesses today, so. Well, I don't think he's going to remember very much about what he said, but I will. I'm going to have to have a word with him about. And this, it's not like he listens to me, right? But I'll have a word with him. I think he's had like AJ, same with AJ Hawk too, and I'm a big AJ Hawk guy. He's a funny guy, really nice guy. He's had a few little condescending quips about the CFL to me too in the past. They're big shots, Mick. Oh, Mr. Me, I won a Super Bowl, right? Hey, you know what I mean? That's Darius Butler, too. I told Darius to watch the CFL. He's on the show, the cornerback, right? He played in the NFL on the Colts and the Patriots. And he goes, nah, dog, I don't want to. And I told him, I said, listen, Darius, it's good football. He goes, no, it isn't. He goes, if they were good to be in the NFL. And I was like, what am I going to do? Argue with a guy in the NFL? He doesn't want to watch it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, fine, bro. So what's your pick, Mick? Who are you taking?
I told you, BC Lions, and then I reckon the Elks against the Alouettes is going to be a good one as well. I think the Alouettes will win. They're 7-point favourite, but I'd like the Elks to maybe cover that. They got some injuries. Purify on defence, the guy that wears the clown mask, he's out. Leak is out, who's been fantastic at running back. And Ford is out still. So Brown will come back in at running back. And this Rankin is a star, been doing great at running back as well. And looking forward to Geno Lewis going back to Montreal Alouettes, because he probably wish he stayed there. But he's a star and they need to throw it to him more. And, of course, Jason Moss, the ex-Eskimo Elk, he's coaching out there. So I've got to hand it to him. What are they, 9-1? Because I thought it was a bit of a fluke. They won it last year, but no, it's not. So well done to your team, the Alouettes, mate.
They've won 17 of their last 18 football games.
Wow.
They don't get credit for it, really, either.
Right.
Like, if the Toronto Argonauts won 17-1 in 18 games, TSN would open with it every night. It's because they're in Quebec, right? It's Montreal, right? It's like they don't really exist in the league. But same thing. I'm glad to see Montreal doing well, Mick, because they weren't. You remember in the old days when you came in the Grey Cups and stuff, man, we were selling out games. Remember, it was a big deal, right? The Alouettes were like a popular team. Man, when the Alouettes won the Grey Cup, there was like 1 million people at their parade. It was like wow. But they got really bad. And people in Montreal said, you know what, I'm not sitting outside in the freaking cold to watch a bad football team. Yeah. Now they're good, they're coming back.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. I didn't know that Brady Cannon was running for president, actually. Fourth party candidate, Brady Cannon. Looks like a president. It's like a presidential. Like, you see Brady Cannon sitting there. He's like, looks like he's the president. Like, ladies and gentlemen, these are difficult times for America, but I want to let you know your president, Brady Cannon, is fine. And I'm going to have golf picks for you every week. Looks like a presidential address from Brady Cannon there. But great idea, the football contest show. Can't wait for the contest. We got contest fever. Actually, we'll be in Vegas next weekend to get into these contests. And, of course, college football. Hamilton's moving to football a little bit right now. Man, we'll get some points on the way out here. It's 19-13 right now with 30 seconds left in the third quarter of play. We're due for a fun fourth quarter finally. Mick Aussie in the house with us. So, Mick, how many more weeks to the playoffs? Is this it? There's one more. This is it, right? Final round to play, and then we got the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. Last round, and then a bye next week, and the AFL finals. Important games. Up until 2 weeks ago, about 12 teams could have made the final 8, but the Fremantle Dockers, they are 9th right now, and if one of the 3 teams above them lose, well, then the Dockers beat Port Adelaide, and they are in. So Carlton, Western Bulldogs, and Hawthorn need to win. So very exciting stuff. But it's been crazy this year. Very hard, mate. All up and down, all over the place. So, yeah, glad the finals are starting soon.
Well, we've always said this, though, and you see this in the NFL and in sports, Mick, just because a team needs to win doesn't mean they're going to win.
Yeah.
And it also means if a team needs to win in the last game of the year, they're not great. They're battling to get into the playoffs, so anything can happen. So let's talk about the teams that need the win. Hawthorn are kind of lucky, though, aren't they? They're playing North Melbourne. So Hawthorn's going to get the win. But they're 60.5-point favorites, bro. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, they brought that game forward. It's just about to start. North Melbourne have got some key injuries. Hawthorn, they started
22-6.
so
It just started.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this one?
Oh, Hawthorn will win. It's down there in Tassie where both teams play a few games. Hawthorn will win. The spread's pretty high, but take the Hawks to win, and they'll make the finals. Cam's team after a horrid start. So they're a real good team. Not many good stars. A good coach, a former West Coast Eagles player. So congratulations to the Hawks. Great year when many thought they'd come maybe bottom 5 kind of thing.
What about the Bulldogs? Another team, so they need to win. The Bulldogs are in 6th place, right? They're all tied with 52 points here, Mick. So Bulldogs are minus 200 on the money line against Great Western Sydney. What do you think of this game?
Very interesting game. The Giants beat them last year in Ballarat. It's in a valley. It's going to be very bad weather. Bulldogs have got quite a few tall players, so the bad weather might suit the Giants. However, that said, Dogs have to win, and they got some absolute stars. Giants are already in the finals. I'll take the Bulldogs but maybe take the Giants on the plus because the Giants might win that one.
All right, and other teams that are playing that they need to win, as you talked about, Carlton, Collingwood. We talked about Hawthorn and the Bulldogs, so let's get to the Blues. Blues in St. Kilda here, Mick, and this game is basically a toss-up as far as the odds are concerned.
Yeah, well, the Blues were 5.5-point favourite, and then I checked tonight, and the Saints are 4 points favourite. Now, the
Saints are eliminated. It's one of those deals, too. So they're just playing for pride. They wouldn't mind being spoilers, playing loose on the way out, right?
And I hope they do, because I picked the Carlton to miss the playoffs when many people had them top 4. Saints have played very well lately. Blues have been terrible. They were in 2nd spot a few weeks ago. Got some big injuries. Curnow, their star forward, is out, and Mackay. I'm going to take the Saints on that one, and a lot of people have as well, but close game. Could go either way.
All right, and finally we've got Collingwood, another team that needs the win. Where are they? Let me pop this up here.
No, they're out of it. They played last night.
Is that it?
Yeah, Port Adelaide.
Are they officially eliminated?
Yeah, Collingwood are done, and the last game of the round is Sunday night. And as I said,
you're right, because they got 52, and somebody else is going to finish ahead of them, right? Because they're tied right now, but that's it. Yeah. Okay, Mick, so what's your best bet? We got about 15 seconds.
Best bet. I will take the Swans to cover against the Adelaide Crows. Trouble at the Crows. Giants and the plus 13.5. And maybe the Roos cover.
Thanks, Mick.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.